in the last 20 years, I don't have figures before 1995, but in the last 20 years, 2/3 of all our new jobs have been created by small businesses. And one of the reasons we had such broad-based growth when I was president is that we were never out of the top 5 countries in the entire world in small business formation. We are not in the top 10 now. And here's why. First, a lot of banks are still paralyzed by that crash. And even though the Dodd-Frank bill, which prevents Wall Street from wrecking Main Street, expressly exempts community banks, there are a lot of banks that are afraid to make loans. And there are a lot of banks that, like, say, a young millennial goes in and wants to start a small business. They say, well, you don't have any real estate for collateral. I sure didn't have any when I was your age. So Hillary has offered a serious program to spend $25 billion over the next few years to dramatically expand small business lending and guarantees and different bank regulations, so you loosen the regulations and increase the incentives, not at the top where you don't want people speculating, but at the bottom where you want people loaning money to people who can start small businesses and rebuild this country again. And she's the only one you can vote for that's got a plan to do this. So that's the first thing. We're stronger together. Choose that, not the person that says, no, we're not. Yes, we are. Secondly, we got to live together. That means we need to expand voting rights, not restrict them. But this is a very big deal. Pennsylvania went through all this terrible turmoil because you had a political system in the state capitol. It's one reason the current governor, bless his heart, got elected, trying to restrict the vote. And I hate to say this, but I kind of admired the Republican leader who at least fessed up. You know, if a fellow's going to stick it to you, I come from a culture where we like it if they look you in the eye and tell you they're sticking it to you, instead of saying, oh, we're only interested in voter fraud. You know how many certified examples of voter fraud there have been since 2000, when a total of 200 million votes have been cast? Do you know how many out of 200 million? 35. This was never about voting fraud. It was about making it harder for first-generation immigrants, people whose first language wasn't English, seniors, the disabled, minorities, low-income people who were less likely to have all the ideas, harder to vote. We're going to have a Supreme Court appointment that'll be first on the griddle. You want somebody who favors voting rights. I hope you want someone who hates the Citizens United decision and doesn't like all this dark, anonymous money.